Good morning. I'm Hassan Giordano, and this is your DMV Daily Dose for Wednesday, November 13th, 2019.
It's currently clear and 23 degrees in Baltimore. Expect partly cloudy skies starting in the evening. Today's high will be 37 degrees, and the low will be 23.
After defensive tackle Michael Pierce suffered an ankle injury in the Ravens' 49-13 win Sunday over the Cincinnati Bengals, the team was left thin on interior linemen on the defensive front. So the Ravens on Tuesday announced the signing of veteran defensive lineman Justin Ellis. The team is also signing defensive lineman D'Amato Pico to further bolster their depth. According to an NFL Network report, the team is also replacing rookie defensive lineman Dalen Mack on the injured reserve list with a knee injury. Mack surfaced on the team's injury report on Friday with a knee and hip injury. A fifth-round pick in April's draft, Mack has appeared in just one game this season. The Ravens also announced Tuesday that they have activated rookie cornerback Iman Marshall from injured reserve to the 53-man roster. In corresponding moves, the team announced it was waiving cornerback and punt returner Cyrus Jones and defensive end Ufambo Kamalo. Maryland Matters' Allison Stevens asked, is DACA doomed in their latest article? The U.S. Supreme Court appears unlikely to salvage an Obama-era program that has allowed hundreds of thousands of young, unauthorized immigrants, known as Dreamers, to remain in the country without immediate fear of deportation. Lawyers defending the program yesterday, known as the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, or DACA, argued that the Trump administration broke the law when it rescinded the program in 2017. Hundreds of protesters echoed this sentiment on Tuesday, chanting "Home is here" and other pro-immigrant messages on the streets in front of the High Court. But the court's conservatives seem to disagree. During extended arguments in 3 consolidated cases, they seem to endorse the legality of the administration's decision to end the program and suggested that the question doesn't even merit judicial scrutiny. Quote, "I assume that was a very considered decision," said Justice Brett Kavanaugh, President Trump's most recent appointment to the bench. Quote, "Now we can agree with it or disagree with the merits of it, but what is the shortfall?" Kavanaugh asked. Even if the decision were illegal, the judicial branch couldn't necessarily fix it, Chief Justice John Roberts said. Quote, "It's not always the case when the government acts illegally in a way that affects other people that we go back and untangle all the consequences of it." The Baltimore Sun's Lillian Reed is reporting that Baltimore City housing officials will stop taking public housing applications due to a 5-year backlog. Baltimore's Public Housing Authority announced yesterday that it will cease accepting applications from residents, citing more than 14,000 applications on the wait list and an average wait time of more than 5 years. Residents have until December 20th to apply for public housing before the Housing Authority stops taking the applications, the authority said in a release. Quote, "This is a decision we wish we didn't have to make, but by continuing to accept applications, we would be performing a disservice and creating a false sense of hope that we can accommodate applicants in the near term," said HABC President and CEO Janet Abrams in a statement. She went on to say that the applicants at the top of our waiting list right now have been waiting on an average between 5 and 7 years. We work very hard to serve as many households as possible, but simply don't have the resources to meet the tremendous need. Agency officials said they have streamlined the wait list this year, almost halving the total number of applicants from 27,000. Abrams encouraged families in need to use programs through Mayor's Office of Human Services. In an interview Tuesday night, said that the Housing Authority was never meant to provide shelter for people in emergency situations, but instead aims to provide long-term, affordable housing for families. The authority began an intensive review of the wait list in January after realizing its staff often had to conduct more than a dozen people on the list to find one still interested in a unit. Abrams said in an interview with the Baltimore Sun at the time, she tries to identify families seeking public housing as it moves through a big wait list. What we have found is that we have had residents who have moved out of the city, passed away, so it's just cleaning up the list, which is something that housing authorities do across the country, Abrams said at the time. We just want to get a clean list so we can lease then lease the units. Residents who did not respond to efforts by authority staff to contact them were not removed immediately from the list, but suspended as officials made additional efforts to contact them, Abrams said. Applicants are placed on the wait list by the date and time they submit applications. The goal is to place the remaining 14,000 on the list into housing over the next 10 years. Abrams said that once the agency has worked through that list, offering housing to everyone who wants it, only then will the list be reopened. The Baltimore Brewers are reporting that while the special election currently underway for Congress is unlikely to reach the fractious free-for-all of 1996, when 27 Democrats battled for the 7th congressional seat vacated by then-Congressman Kwesi Mfume, the race to succeed the late Elijah Cummings is getting rather crowded, but probably won't be as crowded as 96. A 12th candidate is actively raising money, while a 13th officially declared her intentions yesterday morning. That still leaves others considering their options, most notably a former mayor of Baltimore, before next week's November 20th filing deadline for the February 4th, 2020 special primary election. Now, the widow of Congressman Elijah Cummings announced her candidacy yesterday. Maya Cummings, who resigned as the state's Democratic Party chair, entered the crowded race to fill her husband's seat in Congress. She joins former Congressman Kwesi Mfume, who Elijah succeeded when he left to become the president and CEO of the NAACP, along with announced candidates such as Delegate Talmadge Branch and State Senator Jill Carter, who is set to make her announcement official next week. Former Baltimore City Mayor Stephanie Rawlins-Blake is said to be poised to announce her entry into the race on Tuesday of next week, while a Republican candidate entered the race last night at a facility that she told folks was in the district when it actually resides within the 2nd Congressional District. Kimberly Klacik, whose tweet caught the attention of President Trump months ago regarding the filth of Baltimore City, which led the president to attacking the late congressman when he was alive because of the conditions of his district. Well, Klacik was on WBAL radio yesterday and admitted to not only not living in the 7th Congressional District, which doesn't disqualify her to run as a congressional candidate for office due to federal election laws, but also clearly didn't know the parameters of the district that she looks to represent, or the names of the area that she was set to announce her candidacy last night. As she referenced, the bar that she was announcing was in the 7th Congressional District, when in fact it's in the 2nd, and she referenced it at the Timonium Bar as being in Hunt Valley. Now, if you missed Monday night's candidates forum for the 3rd Council District and the 14th Councilmatic District debate, make sure you just go over to DMV Daily News' Facebook page or go find it at www.valuemyvote2020.com. We want to thank everybody for coming out, including the candidates, our panelists, our moderators, and all the voters who came out to the Function co-working facility over on Harford Road on Monday night to hear the candidates square off. I'm your man, Mr. Politics, and this has been your Daily Dose for Wednesday, November 13th, 2019. For more information on the articles that I have mentioned, just go on over to our website at www.dmvdaily.news.